Hello, sorry, to be sure, can you guys hear me? I just want to confirm that you guys can hear me, please. If you can,
Yes, we can hear you.
okay, yeah, thank you very much. So, welcome. As I was saying, this is basically not a class, it's just like a live code session where I'm just going to demonstrate by building one of the designs that I put up in the channel. So, apparently, let me share my screen. Okay, so I suppose you guys can see my screen. Where did I post that stuff again? I think that was in the announcement channel. So basically from the votes so far, we have this last design as the highest the highest voted design to be used for for the practice. So this is what we are going to be building, and I'm going to be explaining every single thing step by step so that we understand how most of what we've done can be applied here. We might also I might also introduce some other terms that I might have not taught, but if I do, I would make sure to explain it. So as I said, practicing while learning makes things easier. So as I add anything that you've not seen before, I'll explain. If you have any question, then you can ask. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up open up the picture of what I'm trying to build up here. Okay, so please, just another quick confirmation. Can you guys see the picture on my screen? Sorry, next one. So this is it.
Yes,
Okay, so so I'm going to go on with building. I'm going to go on with building this. This is the design everybody voted for, and I showed us from the channel. This had 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. This basically had 13 votes. Like it's the only design that had all the votes here basically. So yeah, this is what I'm going to go ahead to build. So I've already opened up my VS Code. I opened it purely from I've not created any file. I just created the folder and I put it up here. So first of all, I'm going to create two files, our HTML file and our CSS file. So our HTML file is going to be the main page, and our CSS file will contain what we use to style our page. So I'll name our HTML file index.html and name the second our CSS file style.css. So come here and just put up set up our basic structure. So next I'm going to link our CSS file to this page. So it's going to be, so all of these shortcuts are done with VS Code. Basically helps me with that. So I just have to write the link, then click enter. So I'm going to link in my CSS file. So I'm just going to put in style.css. So basically we have our basic structure. I'm going to open this up on our browser so that we'll see what we've done. So this is our files that we've created. So yeah, we have our empty page and we are going to start building. So if I start getting too fast, please draw my attention, because I might get carried away and forget that I'm actually teaching people. So yeah, we are going to be building this with pure HTML and CSS, nothing else, and it might not exactly look like this, but I'm going to try to make it look like closest to this, because I don't know the exact font and font family and color combination that we use, but we'll try as much as possible to make it, look like this. So moving on, first of all, I'm going to style our body background. If you notice, the background is not completely white, so I'm going to style the background of our page. So I'm going to style the background of our page. So that is the first thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to come to our style.css, use our body selector and say background color gray. So let's see. Okay, if you notice, our gray here is darker than the gray here, so I'm just going to use our color selector and choose a lighter gray. So I'm going to save, and yeah, so basically, even if it's not exactly as I said, it's going to be close to. So yeah, that is the first thing that's the first thing I'm going to do. Secondly, I'm now going to create this, the basic structure of our whole website. So if we look at how this card is now, or how this page is, we have this card here. So this will be like the outer layer. Then inside this card we have three other layers, which is this box, and this box. And these three different boxes have like sections, have content inside of them. We get so so I'm just going to build up our basic structure and we'll move on from there. So how I like to build up my pages, I write the CSS structure, the HTML structure first before going into CSS. So first of all, I'm going to create our outer card. Go to our index.html. I'll make use of div. I'm going to give the div a class of a class of outer card, and so we have our outer card. I'm now going to create this inner one and these two here. So I'm going to create this upper, like these three different sections here. So we have I'm going to create another div. I'm going to give this a class. I'm going to give this a class of top card. I'm going to create this bottom part. So I'm going to give it a class. I'm going to create another div and give it a class of bottom card. So if you understand the approach I'm taking now, I'm like creating the basic structure of that picture. So we have the outer card, which is the main card on its own. Then we have that up card, which is the full box, which is this one here, which is this full box. Then we have the bottom card, which will be this card by the left, which will contain this card and this card. So I'm going to explain again what I did in this structure. I made an outer card, then I made a top card and a bottom card. Then this bottom card will contain two cards again inside of it, which will now contain the actual content. So moving on, so far I've created the top and the bottom. Then inside of here, I'm now going to create two more divs and give it class of left card, and create another div here and give it a class of right card. So basically this is our basic structure for this thing we are building. Recap: the whole card, or the whole outer card, this is the div for it. Then we now have our top card and our bottom card. Our top card is just completely horizontal with content in it, but our bottom card now is now segmented into two other cards, which is one at the left and one at the right, which now has its content in it. So next, I'm now going to just write in the content, join our community, which is a paragraph, join our community. Secondly, I'll write this one, 30-day hassle-free money back guarantee. I'll write another P, 30-day hassle-free money back guarantee. Oops, I spelled this thing well. Yes, it's 1T. Next here is gain access to our full library of tutorials along with expert code reviews. I will remember these things soon. Okay, so get access to our free tutorials with full library of tutorials. Okay, sorry. So our full library of tutorials along with expert code review. Along with expert code reviews, perfect for any developers who are serious about honing their skills. Perfect for okay, so I've put the content for the top card. Next, I want to put the content for the left card inside this bottom part. So I'm just going to come here in our left card and write monthly subscription. What is under monthly subscription? We have $29 per month. So I'm just going to write $29 per month. What do we have under full access to lesson? Full access for less than $1 a day. So I'm also going to create another P, full access for less than $1 a day. Then under that we have our sign up button. So I'm just going to create a button here and write sign up. Yeah, sign up. So this is it for our left card. Then let me come over to our right card. What do we have in our right card? We have YOS. So I'm going to create our P, write YOS. Under YOS we have this long gibberish text here, tutorials by industry experts, peer and expert code review. Industry experts, peer and expert code review. Code exercise, access to our GitHub proposed code size. Sorry for this long process, but it's part of the whole work. Community forum, flashcard decks. What else? New videos every week. Okay, so now I've created our basic structure for our cards. I'm going to open up the page. So this is what it looks like now, completely rubbish, but we have done everything we need to do in the HTML. The whole work that is left will now be done on the our styling, which is our CSS. So before I go into CSS, I want to come back here and ask us if so far what I've done on the HTML is understood. Please, I would like us to speak. If it's understood, just say yes, you've understood so far. If you don't understand anything I did on the HTML page or why I did anything on the HTML page, then you should also speak up. So I'm going to open up the page again so we see and look at it and tell me if there's anything here I did that you don't understand or you want to understand why I did it before I go on into styling the page. So I'm just like, waiting for people to talk.
No, sorry, sir, please.
Okay.
I got confused with the outer card.
The outer card.
Yes. The outer card, the bottom card, and those. I just need little explanation to get it right again.
Okay, so I'm going to explain that again. Anybody else has anything, any question, any
Thank you, sir.
confusion?
Thank you, sir.
Sure, no wahala, no they call me Sasha. Anybody again get anything to talk? Let me just go on. Is somebody about to say something?
I wanted to add
Oh, the same question. Okay, so I'm just going to explain everything again because that was what I explained in the beginning. I guess you guys came late, but no wahala. I'll explain it again. So let me just share my screen here so that let me just divide up my screen so that I would see as I'm explaining it. Can you guys see my screen well? The code and the picture of what we are trying to build. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. Thank you. So the structure, as I said, what I did here was just writing our basic structure for what we are trying to build here. That is just what I did here. It is still basic structure, and that is how I would recommend that we all go about building our stuff. We should first look at the page and understand how to structure it before even writing any CSS. So what I did here was the whole of the page now will be our body. Then inside the body we now have this card here. This first block that we look at when we look at it, that we see when we look at this page, is now what I created as a div and named it, gave it class of outer card. So this whole box is our outer card, as we can see. Then inside this outer card we have this and this, like 3 sections. This long section, this block section, this block section. So these 3 sections is inside this outer one. So while we have this our outer one, and I came inside our outer card and now created a div for this one and named it top card. Then I now if you notice down here houses left and right. So I now created top card, created another div, named it bottom card. Then inside our bottom card we now have left card and right card. So if we now look at it here, we have our outer card from here to here, which is all of this in general. Then inside our outer card we have our top card first, which is just this. And if we notice, I've already written join our community, 30-day hassle-free money back guarantee, get access to our full library, which is these things that are in the top card. Then I came and created a div for our bottom card, which is all of this bottom part of the system. Then if we notice, inside this bottom part we now have 2 sections again, left and right, which is exactly what I did here. Inside our bottom card I now created 2 more divs, this which I named left card, and now wrote in the the details: monthly subscription, $29 per month, full access for less than 1 day. Then I also put the button, the sign up button, which is what is this. Then we now also have, and I also created right card, or another div, and named it right card, which is for this one here, this section here, which has y us and this text here. So does this explanation make any sense to us before I go on?
Yes.
Is it clear? Does the second person that said he wanted to ask the same question, are you clear?
Yes.
All right, no problem. So I'm just going to go on now. Let me just put this back in full screen. And I'm going to refresh the page so that we'll see what we have so far. Where was I? Here. So basically this is what we have so far. It makes no sense. It's just basic trash websites. So the rest of what we are going to be doing now is inside CSS. So like this now, this thing that you're looking at, we have created everything we need to create in HTML. Every other thing will be done in CSS. So I'm going to first of all start with making this card, and bringing it to the middle. And by that, what I'll actually need to style is the outer card. What I actually need to style is the outer card. So I'm just going to come to our CSS page and select, as I told us in CSS, dot is for selecting classes. So class outer card. Let me see if I got the name right. Yes, outer card. So now we have our outer card. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to give it a specific a specific width, so it does not take up the whole page. So yeah, I'm going to give it a width, a color, and these shadows here, then this border. So what I'm going to do is give it a width of 60%. I'm not exactly sure how long or how wide it is, but based on guessing, I'm giving it a width of 60%. I'm also going to give it a background color of white so that we can see it differently. Then to now do these curves here, we need a property called border radius. So I don't think I've talked about border radius before, but now I'm going to introduce border radius and we'll actually see what it does. So I'll put a border radius and give it, let's say, 6 pixels. So border radius is like the radius of the curve, how much curve you want to give the borders of this particular card. So with this, our first 3 lines of CSS, let's refresh the page and see what we have. So voila. So this is what we have right now. It's coming to shape, but it does not look anything close to what we have. So we are going to continue. First of all, I want to take this to the center. So I going to come here. Okay, let me be sure. Yes, so I'm going to use justify content and make the content of the body to be in center. First of all, I want to make use of the display, to make use of flex should work here. Yeah, so I remember introducing flex in our previous class. So flex is like helps us structure layout in our website. So first of all, before this justify had to work, I had to make use of the display flex. So the display flex is to tell you that, okay, see, we are making use of flex containers now. Then I now had added a flex property here, which is center. So this has now made the item come to the center. So the next thing I want to do now is try to bring this down also. Try to bring this down in the middle here also, because in the picture is like kind of like in the middle. So I'm also going to make use of another flex property here, which is align items. Sorry, and bring this down. Let me see if this is going to come down. Okay, I guess that won't work. So I'm just going to make use of margin here. I'm going to make use of margin top, and as I explained in our class, I talked about margin. Margin top is the space I'll give above the card here. So I'll give margin top of like 20% so that it comes down. Okay, this is too much, so I'm going to reduce it to 10%. Okay, so we are getting close. We have our card in the middle, but not yet what we have what we want to do yet. So the next thing I want to do is like reduce the width. It's too wide. It's not as the original image is not that wide. So I'm going to make the width 50% instead. Okay, so yeah, this is better. The next thing I want to do now is give it that what do they call it, that shadow that it has. And to do that, there is an attribute called box shadow. So I'm just going to use 2 pixels and I'm going to give it a color of gray, but let me use a lighter gray so it does not get so dark. Let me see. Let me be sure the box shadow is even working in the first place before I start talking about the color. Okay, it should be. So 2 pixels, 2 pixels, 2 pixels. Let me see. Okay. Okay, I guess I'm getting close. So before I continue again, does anybody have any question, any confusion about what I've done so far?
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah, shoot.
Okay, yeah. About the shadow you just did now. You kind of like supply them four parameters or so. Like the 2 pixel was typed like 4 times. So is there a kind of direction for those numbers?
Yes, actually. So these numbers are actually meant to be the how will I put it, the angle of the shadow. So normally when you are giving multiple values to all these properties, sorry, I'm moving my screen too much. So this is supposed to be the top, the right, the bottom and the left. So these properties here don't work only for box shadows, it also works for margin and some other things. So you can use it for even border radius, you get. So that is basically it. You don't even need to supply all 4, but I just like putting all 4 just for the sake of providing all of it. But yeah, that is what it means. Anywhere you see 4 values like this, it starts with top, right, bottom and left. You understand? Does that make any sense? Hello?
Yes, thank you very much. I understand.
All right. Does anybody have any other question?
What we are trying to do something particular.
Hello? Please, your voice is cracking.
Yes, what we are trying to create is something secular. How do you go about it?
It's something
The circular shape.
a circular shape. Well, circular shape, basically what you have to do is just increase the radius. So in the actual sense, to create a circular what do they call it, to create a circular box or card per se, what you have to do is make sure that the width, so this is for just for demonstration to answer your question, make sure that both the width and the height, is the same size. Then just give it a radius of 50% and you have a circular shape. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so I'm going to go take this back to how it was. Okay, so if there are no more questions, I'm just going to continue. So as we have now, okay, we already have our box, but everything inside here is still kind of gibberish, and our shadow here is too dark, so I'm just going to make it lighter. I think this is better. Let me see. Yeah, I think this is better. So yeah, this is better. So next I'm just going to start working with our top card first of all. So I'll come here and tap top card. So the first thing I want to give this top card is how to make everything here have this spacing that this thing has. So I'm going to give it padding. I'm going to use padding for that, to give spacing around it, within it. So I can either use padding left, top, right, and bottom, but since I've explained this value combination for you guys, I'm just going to use only padding and now call all of the values. So I'm going to give it a padding top of, let me see, I'm going to give it a padding top of 2%, padding right of 4, let me give it 5%, padding bottom of 5%, and padding left of 5%. So I'm going to explain why I did that. It kind of already has an padding here already, so I am not going to give it the same padding on top as the same padding by the left. So let me just refresh this page and see what we have. So as you can see, this is basically the result of the padding I just gave. So yeah, our card is kind of getting into shape. We just need to add the color to this, the color to this, and the color to this. So we kind of have our top card in place. So I'm now going to just leave this for now, go to our bottom card. So I'm going to going to come, I want to give our bottom card that same, I think my system just started hanging. 1 minute. Okay, yeah, so as I was saying, next to style the bottom card, and if you notice, it has a different color here. So let me see, I'm going to give it the same padding of 2%, 5%, 5%, 5%. So let's refresh and see. So yeah, we have this now. So basically this is just me writing code. I gave the same values here and gave the same values here. So instead of me rewriting this 2 times, I can just make this part this same, write it once but apply it to both classes. So all I have to do is copy this class, come here, put comma, and paste. So now using comma to separate them, anything I write inside here we apply to both this and this. So let me refresh the page and we still have the same results. So as you can see, both sections are still showing on the same line. So this is the next thing I'm going to do now, is to try and separate them into 2 left and right, 2 separate lines. So what I'm going to make use of now, I'm now going to make use of our flex. I'm now going to make use of our flex display to make the layout structured. So here I'll need to write the bottom card, the code for this in the bottom card separately. So I'll now use display flex. I'll use display flex. So this display flex doesn't, okay, yeah, it's tells you that, okay, see, it is it's a flex, what do we call it, we're making use of flex. So that is why we have it displayed like that for now. So secondly, what I'm going to do, which is not really going to make much of a difference because it has already structured it for us in a column, but I still find it necessary to add it, which is flex direction. So I'm going to give it a flex direction of row. So yeah, nothing changes because it's already in row, but yeah, I still find it necessary to do that. So as you can see, we have our left card and our right card seated freshly. The only issue now is they are not equal, and why this one took more space is because of it actually has more content, but we don't want it like that. We want both of them to have equal amount of space. So we are going to give them the same amount of width, and by doing that we are going to make use of the width attribute. So this time we are going to select left card as we've written and right card, then give both of them a width, sorry, a width of 50%. So you'll be wondering why I made use of 50%. I made use of 50% because giving this one a width of 50% would make it take 50% of the whole length. So if this one takes 50%, this one takes 50%, then it aligns them together. So again, I'm going to give another chance for questions. Does anybody have any questions so far? Any questions so far before I go on? At least somebody should reply. Biko. Let me know that I'm not talking to myself.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really have like a question, but it's like let me say it's a question as well.
Okay.
This approach now, is it going to be very easy for us to? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, I was saying this approach, is it going to be easy for us to actually be able to develop something that goes into mobile, that will be adaptable to mobile view with this approach?
How do I answer this? Well, this approach specifically does not consider cross like multiple views, mobile and desktop. So for us to develop sites or something that will work both on mobile and in desktop, we'll have to make use of media queries, or also introduce how to make these things work on mobile. So we've done only 3 classes, which is like HTML introduction and CSS fundamentals on 1 and 2, and that is basically what I'm using to practice this. If that we have done media queries and responsive sites, then that is when we'll start talking about all of those ones. But for now, this is we finished our general class. We also have our UI UX designers here, so we are not going deep into all of these design features. When we now go into our separate tracks, surely front-end developers will have to learn about creating mobile responsive sites. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. So moving on, we kind of have like our basic structure. We have this, and we have this, but it does not yet have the colorings and all. So first of all, if we notice, our font is not the same thing. Our font is not the same thing, but I don't know the font they are using, so I'm just going to use something that I know is similar to it. So I talked about font family the other time, so we are going to make use of font family of sans serif. Let's refresh, and yeah, we have this. It's not really exactly, but it's close. So the next thing I want to do now is color these 2 sections. I don't know the color, so I'm just going to guess. Color these 2 sections. So I'm going to come to our left card, give it a background color of does anybody have an idea of the name of this color, please? Anybody get idea? If not, I'll just basically use any color that comes to my head.
Upwards blue. Huh?
Upwards. Oh wow, Shy is blue, but I don't know the kind blue.
Is that not cyan? Which one?
This background color here, like see na tortoise blue. This background color.
Use a color picker.
Shall let me start from blue.
It looks like cyan.
Okay, let me see if cyan is there. Let's see if cyan works.
Yeah, cyan. Okay. Cyan.
Well, it's light, so
we'll
start from here and like make it dark. Let's see. Start from here and make it dark. It's close, ba? It's close. Yes. Let me see, like that a bit. Something close. So yeah, well, as you can see, we kind of have a challenge here, and the issue here now is because we gave a padding to the what do we call it, to the bottom card, and now this left card inside of the bottom card has been shifted. So I'm going to remove the padding that is inside the bottom card and put it inside the left and right card itself. So where is that? Let me remove this completely, come here and put it instead, and let's see. Okay, yeah, oh well, this works, but it now removes this one from our top card. So I'm just also going to copy it and write our top card again and give it. So yeah, I think this solves that issue. Okay. Yeah, so moving on, I'm going to also create our right card and give it the same padding. I'm also going to copy the background color because it's basically the same thing, but you know, it's lighter. So it's lighter, but yeah, it's lighter. So let's take it up a bit and let's see. I get them, but I no get them. What's up now? Mercy.
Try now. Yes, eh.
It's close,
You don't
sha.
get them, sha, but okay.
We will get that. Okay, so yeah, I think now something shall we have something, so let's move ahead from here. Okay, so next thing, all of the text we have inside of our bottom this thing is white, so I'm going to come to our bottom card and just give it a color of white so that all of them will have, you know, white color. Yep, this is something. The only next is this button. Let's see. So let me, you know, just select the button. For now we have only button, that's why I'm using button selector. If you have multiple buttons on the page, you have to select that specific button, like assign a class to that button. Or let me just follow that convention instead of, you know, giving long explanation. So I'm going to just give this button a class of btn sign up. So let me just copy the class, come over here and give it btn sign up, and let's start our stuff. So first of all, I'm going to give it, let me see, I'm going to give it padding so that, you know, it will have space around it. You get the point. Actually, let me make it wider because here it almost spans the whole page. So let me do that first. Let me give it a width of 90% and let's see what it looks like. Yep, so I think we are there. So with this now, we don't need to add any space left and right. The only place we need to add space is up and top and bottom. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give padding, and I'm going to use our, you know, multiple value stuff. So first value is for top, so I'm going to give it 3% for top. We don't need the right value, so I'm going to leave it at 0%. Bottom value 3%, then left value 0%, and let's see what we have. Okay, we are close. The next thing, it is curved and it is a different color and it does not have a border, so I think that is the next thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to give it border radius of 6%. You can give it more if you want, depending on how curved you want it to be, if you like curvy things. And next I'm going to give it a background color of, I think that is yellow, kind of yellowish green. Let me just, you know, take the guess. Lemon bar. Thank you, Jerry. They no get lemon for you. Let me select yellow.
Lime.
No, lime is lime. Let me select.
Not your yellow green.
Let me just select yellow first, then use color picker and make it, a little bit light. Yeah, so I think this works. Oh boy, what's in this up now? So if we see, we have this box here. This is actually the border, so I'm going to remove the border, give it a border of none, like it should not have a border. So yeah, I think we are close, just to make it wider. So I'm just going to increase the padding here, 4, and yeah, I think that is something. And what next? Yeah, the color too has to change to white. So yeah, I think we are close. We are getting there. The next thing we have to do is just color this. So I'm just going to copy the color we used for this one. I beg. Okay, strength. Copy this. So I'm going to see what we want to give that color is our join our community. So I'm just going to give this a class of head. So I'm just going to come here and write head, give it a color of that blue. So yeah, we have that. Sorry, I misspelled our. It's supposed to be our, not at. So our. Next, I'm going to make it use font weight to make it bold. Yeah, join our community. So this also is the button color, so I'm just going to also do that. Come here and give this a class of subhead. Come here, select it, subhead, and where's that button again? Button color, color of this. So let me refresh this, and yeah, we have this, but it's also bold, so I'm going to use font weight bold. We are close, but we are not close. They close, but we're not. Oh well, right there. So the next thing is this last one here, class. I'm just going to give this text. Come over here, select the text. I want to reduce the font size because it's too large, so sorry about this. Make this font size of, let's say, 12 pixels. Give it a color of, let me make it white smooth because it's not pure white from what I'm seeing here. Away, what the heck have I? Sorry, that is gray, I think. Kind of a light grayish color. Yeah, so I think the next thing is the the line heights. I know I mentioned line heights in our last class, so I'm not supposed they knew. So line heights, I'll just make this 20 pixels to give our space more. Let me increase the font a bit to like 14. Yo. So yeah, so the time is 9:01. I was expecting to finish this by 9 o'clock, but unfortunately we started late, and as I said, I don't like taking this our classes stuff, stretching it so that we don't get bored and all. So I think I've basically done most of the work. If I'm not mistaken, what is left here is to style this to look differently, like this text to look the way it is here. And what else? Let me see. I think the sign up button has a shadow, so let me just add that. Let me just add that. Let me see.
And the text is bigger.
Yeah, and the text is bigger also. So the shadow here is lighter. And let me just increase the font size also. 15 pixels, I guess. Away. What did I do there? What did I do? It's supposed to be darker, not even. I guess I'm just supposed to reduce this. I guess this should do. So yeah, I'm going to stop here for now. I'm going to upload upload the code, and we can play around with it, and let's just take it as a take home. Go and do your own edits. If you want to try and see if you can make it like this, good luck. You can also touch it, do one or two things, play around with it. But so far so good. This is what we have. Let me just put it side by side to what is here. On the screen that I just shifted now made it look like this, but I'm gonna come and put it back the way it is. But here we have this is what we're trying to do, and this is what we have. It's not exactly the same, but it is close, and at least the point is that we understand how these things work. So I'm going to upload the code, upload the picture, we can play around with it, try and edit it, and let's see what we'll be able to come up with. We should try and see if we can do the rest of this stuff, reduce the font, reduce this font also, just try and play around with it, and let's see what we'll have by the end of tomorrow. I don't know if that makes sense to us. Is that fine? Hello?
Makes sense.
Okay, no wahala.
Fine.
All right, thank you very much. So any questions so far before I just round up and we close for today?
Ubix.
Any question? Okay, so while I'm waiting for your questions, I think I'm just going to comment most of these things here so that it gets. Is there even need to comment this thing? Shall let me just do it. Okay, no problem. Okay. I guess there's no question, no that thing, and I guess so. This we are just going to round up for the night. Thank you all for coming. We're also going to upload the video of this session on our YouTube channel, so we can always go back or go on there and try and look back to see things that were done and how they were done. So with no other question, I guess this is all for this night. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for being part of this. My steady students who don't come since, I appreciate. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the class.
Yeah, keep coming on. It's definitely going to be. But now they always get network issues. All right. I guess that is all for today. Do have a good night rest. To see tomorrow. Good night, everyone.